Welcome back. It's Laura from Melodies of Light. I want to talk to you about tempo. As a chorister, one of your main jobs is to set and keep a consistent tempo. How do I even know how to do that? Well, the first step is to know about how fast the hymn should go. So let's use the example of Nearer My God to Thee. And at the top of the page, right under the title, to the left, it says, this has a quarter note symbol, and it says 63 to 76. That's telling you that using a metronome, which you can find online, you can Google it and look up a metronome. On the metronome, I can set it from 63, so here's 63, nearer my God to thee. That feels super slow to me. Here's the faster version, nearer my God to thee. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go any slower than that. And personally, I probably even go slightly faster than that. Nearer, this is 84. Nearer my God to thee. I maybe would go about 80. Now the way that I figured that out is just by saying, or you can sing the words at that speed and see how it feels. Each one of these clicks has to do with one of the beats in the music. So if it's 4/4, there's 4 of these beeps or clicks that should happen every one of these measures. So that's how I would figure that out to start with. So you choose a tempo. Okay, this is my tempo that I want to go. And you kind of get that in your head. You can even practice conducting to that tempo. Here's my pickup. Ready? Try this with me. Ready? This is hymn 100. Turn to hymn 100. We're going to do a pickup. 1, 2, 3. Pickup. Nearer my God to thee. Nearer to thee. Okay, and I would go through the whole song, cut everyone off, bring them in, do verse 2. I would do all 3 verses that way. Get really familiar with what that speed feels like. That will help you then when you're with the organist and with the congregation to do better with keeping a consistent tempo. Now here's one thing that's tricky, is you'll come across the fact that the congregation will drag, which means that no matter what tempo you choose, they will have a tendency to pull you to a slower tempo. All the more reason to be really deliberate at first with the tempo that you want, so that as that drag happens, it doesn't have as much impact. Nobody likes singing a song that's long and drawn out because you're holding each beat too long and then you really lose the message of the hymn. And that's the reason for the tempo. Have you ever tried to sing a hymn too fast? I don't know if you've ever had a chorister. This is not as common, but sometimes the chorister will get going and maybe be uncomfortable up there and they're just cruising, and all of a sudden it's real hard to get in all the words. Maybe it's, I stand all amazed, and we're going, oh, it is wonderful that he should care for me enough to die for me. Okay, somehow I just totally missed the message of that because all I was thinking about is trying to get all the words to happen. The other thing that can happen is the opposite, which is the drag. And so a chorister might start a little bit slow, even maybe within that metronome reading of 63 to 76, maybe that 63 is where they start, but the congregation drags them and then they kind of are pulled with it, and by the end, they are going so slow that everybody's losing their mind and is so tired of singing this hymn that they've lost the message. So tempo is really important for that reason, so that we can all, first of all, function the way we need to with the music, including the organist, by the way, who if you set the tempo too fast is going to have a nightmare of a time trying to hit all those right notes, but also so that those of us singing can really feel the message of the hymn and not either rush or drag so much that we miss the message.